So morning all, out with RB and a ride test on this. So obviously 50cc equivalent in electric. This is the Lexmoto Elex. Just looking around the bike, side stand, main stand, all in that deep matte black. An absolutely lovely looking scooter, obviously only 30 mile an hour on this one. And what we're going to do, we're going to flick across to the second camera and get up close and personal, and then cut back to the drift in just a second. So just to flick across to second camera, just to get in close and personal on the Lexmoto Elex. As you notice, the motor is in the back wheel. That is the Bosch motor in there. And just working down the side of the bike, nice big frame to the bike. Battery storage, centre of the bike, and you have your charging socket just behind in the rear passenger compartment, just to the front there, little rubber plug you pull out, plug your charger straight in. Around the front of the bike, nice set of LED lights to the front of that. Indicators all the way around, so you're not going to miss that you've got your indicators on. You can actually see these when you're on the bike. Your rear pillion pegs just pop out to the back, just pop them out for a rear pillion rider, and then your springs just there. Reflectors to the rear, obviously side reflectors as well, and that nice LED tail system as well for your indicators, stoplight, reflector just to the back as well. Now with the seat storage on this one, you can lock the bike, put the key to the left, push the key in, that locks the bike. Also has its own alarm on it, so if you do move the bike or you rock it about with the alarm on, it will go off, and that is activated off the key here. So you can alarm on and alarm off. To unlock the seat, leave the key where it is, just click it round, that will open your seat, and there's plenty of room in there for your charger. You've got your isolator switches to the back, and the seat locks down nice and firm. So we're going to get out with this one, we're going to ride test this, and we'll flick back to the second camera. So cutting back to the main ride camera, been up close and personal. What's it like to actually sit on? Once you've got it off the main stand, seating position is very, very good. Lovely soft seat on this. Now on your controls, you've got main beam, dip beam to the left. Your indicators slightly different. Push them across and push them back to the centre, so it's not got a push to cancel. You have to manually put these to the middle. So if you have got big thumbs, you can accidentally flick them across, but it's up to you. You can see as you look down on the bike, you can see if your indicators are on. It's got the normal little baggy clip there and a little bit of storage, enough to put a mobile phone. Now, this has got a USB, so you can plug your phone in on the USB, drop your phone in there on the charger, and charge your phone while you're riding. Your right hand controls, position light, main lights. You've got a park button and a shift for 2 gears. And the horn on it, what's it like once the ignition is fired up? Got a nice horn on it. Your display on this, your battery charge comes up to the left. Your battery and all across the top there. And your miles are down the bottom. It's in park mode at the moment, so take it out of park by holding the brake. You don't need to hold the brake, but you can. And obviously take it out of park mode. There are 2 modes on this, 1 and 2. So we're going to try and start in 1 and just show you what it's like for 1, and then obviously flick up to number 2. Now indicators right to the top, main beam, and obviously a battery light just down here. So off in 1. What's she like? Pretty fast, and I'd say in 1 it's got about the same acceleration as a Lexmoto Echo. So we just wait for the traffic to clear, and obviously this is a 30 mile an hour maximum bike. Now with these, it can't be unrestricted, whereas the Impulse and the Cypher can. So in power mode 1, the maximum you're going to get out of it, and we are absolutely wide open, is 20. Shift up to gear position 2, and you should get around about 28 to 30 mile an hour on this one. So it's climbing slowly, but the thing is, obviously with an electric motor, there is loads and loads of torque, so it will get you up to that speed quicker. So if you happen to be pottering around town, ideal for that little daytime trip down to the shops, or if you happen to be going to school or college, absolutely perfect. So obviously on the flat you can get about 30 mile an hour out of it. Throttle's wide open, currently about 26. Now what we are going to do, I'm going to have a quick zip down the dual carriageway just to see what she's like on the flat, and then we're going to go into town and just see what she is like around town for your average, obviously 30 mile an hour areas. So down the dual carriageway we go, throttle wide open, and currently, there we go, 28 mile an hour. Ideal little 30 mile an hour bike, you're not going to get much more out of it, but obviously compared to something like a Lexmoto Echo or a similar scooter, it does get up to speed very, very quickly. And obviously people say, oh, 30 mile an hour on a dual carriageway. Most of the roads in Milton Keynes are all dual carriageway. Something you have to live with. And obviously if it's the only dual carriageway you can get down, 30 mile an hour is not an issue, which is why you would always stick to ride position number 1 and keeping an eye on those mirrors. Now the mirrors on these, I've got about a quarter of the mirror obscured by my shoulder, but there is still loads of room to look over my shoulder and see the road behind me. Now the one thing with electric bikes that you will notice, there is no engine braking when you roll off the throttle. So as soon as you let go of the throttle, you are still maintaining the speed. Whereas on a powered motorcycle with an engine, you would find you'd get yourself a little bit of engine braking. So it's very, very similar as if you were on a bicycle. As soon as you stop pedalling, you're going down a hill, you're still holding your speed. And obviously if you're rolling off on a powered machine, you will get that slight bit of engine braking that just cuts in and just holds you back or brings you down in speed. So that is the only difference between electric and a petrol. Obviously you're going to save loads of fuel, and the way fuel is at the moment, you're going to find it absolutely amazing that you can go past the queue of petrol people waiting for petrol and you only need to charge your bike. Now the charging socket, as I said, is just behind the rider's feet. Pull the rubber plug out, pop your charger in, put it into the mains, and you can charge overnight. So obviously roll off the throttle, no power on the bike, and we are still doing 25 mile an hour. So it's exactly the same as if you were riding a bicycle. Now looking down, you can see that you've got the indicators on, which is a godsend, but it's just remembering them to obviously cancel it back to the centre. I would like to push to cancel, so you've got something solid that you can feel that you know you've got cancelling. I can see people accidentally pushing a little bit too far and putting the opposite indicator on. That is my only down point on this. But as a 30 mile an hour run around, not a problem. A lot of people are going, oh yes, but you're only doing 22 mile an hour climbing the hill. Maybe, but just think what a 50cc would be doing. It would be struggling coming up that hill. So if you're using it sort of potter around town, a couple of miles a day, going down the shops to get your loaf of bread and your pint of milk and your newspaper, or if you're backwards and forwards to school, you're going to be saving on road tax, you're going to be saving on fuel costs, and obviously insurance on EVs is a lot less than a petrol bike, which is another factor that you obviously need to put into your equations when you're pricing up what sort of bike you should go for. The other thing is obviously your maintenance costs. There is nothing to service on one of these, absolutely nothing to service apart from an bolt inspection, look at the motor, and obviously check the battery over. So you're not paying out for oil, you're not paying out for plugs, you're not paying out for valve adjustments. Only thing you should really be paying out for is obviously brake pads and tyres. So that is another factor that you need to obviously put into the equation, how much money you're going to be spending on this on a yearly cost. Now obviously with a 50cc, it's every 1,000 miles. So every 1,000 miles or monthly, So it's normally 3, 6, 12. Go have a look at your service manual, and that will give you all your service dates to when you need to get in. But you're saving yourself around about 100 quid every time you pop it in for a service. And obviously, as I say, servicing on one of these is a hell of a lot cheaper. And a lot of people at the moment are going for EVs, electric vehicles. Simple reason being, more economical, and with the current climate and petrol and diesel and all the fuel issues that we've got, it's going to be cheaper to run one of these. Charging on these, you're probably looking, I would say, around about 3 to 5 quid a week. And obviously if that's on a good distance. Range on one of these, they have said between 40 and 60, but it's down to obviously weight of the rider, riding conditions, road conditions, and how many hills are on the flat you're doing, and obviously what mode you are in. Normally if I was just pottering down the shops, I'd stick it in mode 1, save some battery, because you can get 20 mile an hour. You're not going to be doing much more around town if you're pottering down the high street. And obviously the acceleration to get to mode 1 or mode 2 is exactly the same. From the off, they're around about the same. So we're just going to time this. We're going to pull down as low as we can, and then we're just going to time how quick we can get up to 30. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, round about, I'd say about 9 or 10 seconds. And we know because we've done this on the Lexmoto Echo, and it was around about 14, so it's a little bit quicker on the torque. One thing, you're not going to be setting any speed cameras off on one of these, because it's always going to be under 30 mile an hour. As soon as it gets to 30, kicks in and holds you back. Now what's it like for suspension? Absolutely lovely. Soft to mid, I would say, on this suspension. You can feel the bumps, but obviously it's soaking it up, which is another good thing as well. And obviously that one thing I do like, that visible look down, I can see my indicator. Obviously on these tyres, road holding is absolutely spot on. So this is just a quick ride test. We've got 6 miles on the bike now. So this is the first part of ride test number 1. There is going to be a second ride test to follow. We take it out and have a little bit of a longer run, and we will put it up that big 1 in 9 hill that goes up to Brick Hill, Leighton Buzzard, just to see what it's like climbing the hill. Is it going to affect it climbing a hill on an EV? And it shouldn't do. Probably a mile an hour or so. So if you're into an EV, check out the Lexmoto pages, lexmoto.co.uk. They've got loads of EVs out at the moment. If you are interested and you live local to Milton Keynes, Eclipse Motorcycles mk.co.uk is the website. Telephone numbers down there as well, 01908 643 603. As always, thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Watching me potter around at 30. Leave your comments down the bottom what you think of electric vehicles and obviously 50cc equivalents. Next video in line, hit that notifications bell, that will tell you when the next video is coming up. And don't forget, live stream again this Friday, where we're going to be talking electric vehicles and what is best suited to you, and talking about some of the big moto vloggers. But until the next time, from RB and the guys at Eclipse Motorcycles, it's a big goodbye from me.